Well, it's ECKD night, isn't it? We're going Danish tonight. It's ECKD, E-Cycle Club Denmark. They've been around for quite a while. They've been phenomenally successful in getting Denmark into e-racing. We're proud and privileged to be allowed to cover their race tonight. The second one on IndieVelo. They would be remarkable on RGT beforehand, and the transition is great. You can see here, it says on their logo, ECKD's race and fun for all. 29.9 kilometres, 311 metres of climbing. That's on the base camp. Let's have a look at the course tonight. Let's see what we've got in store, shall we? So, I think base camp's quite an interesting course. You can see it goes round the coast here, but it goes up to that northern lake, around, over the top, down at the southern lake and back. Now, so that means a little bit of climbing in the middle, and you can see at the top the grey profile where they go over inland and then back to the coast. So plenty of flat, but quite decisive on the climb there as they go over the middle of the island past the two lakes. Now, there are 2 laps, so they're going to have to do that twice. This will make this race quite an interesting feat, because I think, strategically, and we've seen this in recent races I've been covering on my own West London VR races, the Monday Malarkey series. We've seen this sort of where some people realise that the climbs on IndieVelo are quite challenging. I mean, if you come over from RGT, for example, you will find it's slightly harder, more realistic doing some of the hills. And some riders have worked this out, and they thought, right, okay, if you've got a long flat lead in and you look at this course, I mean, maybe 2/5 of the way, a bit more into the first lap is flat. So if you can get ahead and you'll slow up the climbs, okay, the climbers might catch you, but if you're still in contention at the top, you're in with a chance. So let's see how the riders tactically play this, shall we? As I say, each rider will have his own strategy or her own strategy here. And, once you get over that mountain, it's, flat till you come around to it next time. So 2 big moments are those 2 big climbs in the middle of each of the 2 laps. So ECKD, running these ones for fun. It's not a series at the moment. I think they have, you'll have to ask Jan Hansen. He'll tell you. But I think the idea is they're going to run these individually as races at the moment. ECKD, dominant brand for Wednesday night. It's a Wednesday night pick. That's why we're covering it. We're lucky they let us. It's going to be fun. And just look at that turnout. 36 on the start line. Got a pacer bot in there. I meant to ask Jan how far the pacer bot goes, and I forgot to ask. So let's see. He's got some great names in there. Nick Greenhalgh in there, Jorgen van Beurs, Ratio Racing, Ingmar van Beurs as well. Alex Page, 4 Ratio riders in there. Daniel Margulies from Portugal, and they're off. And we've got 25.9 kilometres to go. Now, nobody overtaking the pacer box at the moment. This is something that, they're getting close. Somebody's gone past. It keeps happening. The brakes will get slammed on, and those riders who just passed the pacer box will suddenly find themselves thrown back. So, and you go back to you go to the back of the little group you're in. But other people with the momentum are overtaking the pacer box. I should have asked Jan, I have been speaking to him today, how he set the pacer bot up, and I forgot to ask, I have to confess. People working out now that you just kind of sit to, it's still people coming through with that momentum. There's no braking, so you can't, if you do reach the pacer bot, you can't get past, you can't brake to stop yourself going past, and if you do hit, being level with the pacer bot, the brakes will throw you back in the peloton. Now, this kind of doesn't matter. If you see that rider there, brakes on, bang, bad move. Everybody kind of works it out and sits in tight after a little while, but you can see people making that error, and we'll go through who the riders are as the race evolves. 25.2 kilometres to go. I suspect, and I have to say, as one of the early promoters on this, we did experiment with how far the pacer bot would go, and I did some races with longer distances, and I decided that 1 kilometre was probably about right. I got caught out in one of my races where the terrain meant that it actually didn't work perfectly, and for that particular course. Now here we are. That's it. The Flam Blanc. Now after this, they go over that line. You can go past the pacer bot, and this is where the race will explode. and suddenly people shooting forward. The ones who know there's an ECKD jersey in second place is Rasmus Feldball. Alex Plaisir off the front at the moment. No, Alex Plaisir is 5th position at the moment. Alex Plaisir is first. Sorry, I'll take it all back. Ratio Racing's Alex Plaisir now off the front, and I think Alex will go for that gap, try and create that gap, try and get over the. You can see the profile at the bottom. You can see the two big sort of Christmas tree shaped lumps. Isn't that amazing? You know, we get Scandinavian country, we get Christmas tree shaped climbs. How fantastic! If you're from Northern Europe, you'll get that one. It's as I say, Alex Plaisir riding for Rassia. I think Alex Plaisir will go for getting ahead and getting up the climbs, knowing that. Now it's Stanley it's one of the Electric Spirit riders. Stanley Gabriel now off the front in that Electric Spirit white, being chased by Ratio Racing, Ingmar van Beurs and Nick Greenhouse, another Ratio rider, going off the front. Ingmar going with him with the teammate. We've got Daniel Iremia, Tolball, one of the Danish riders. Nice some Danish riders in here tonight. I know that there's Anders Ostergaard as well. Fantastic to see them. I know there's a lot going on in Denmark tonight, so the numbers probably could have been phenomenal had that not been the case. 36 though, pretty decent. Ingmar van Beurs off the front from Ratio Racing with his teammate Nick Greenhouse. Is he pacing Nick, or are they working together? It's Daniel Gabriel, the Electric Spirit rider, going with them. They formed a little bit of a gap. They've got a second on. Yep, Tolball from FUSN from Denmark. I suspect FSN is one of the sub-teams of ECKD. Great to see so many Danes in it. Anders Ostergaard, always great to see. Jorgen van Beurs, who we spoke to, who's not Danish, of course. Tolball, I don't know you, but I'm sure. Now you can see the little gaps appearing here. They're still on the flat section. You look at the bottom of your screen, you can see the yellow arrow. That's pointing to where we're looking. This is very strung out. Pressure on the front from the E-Spirit rider and the Ratio riders now making its effect on the front group. Look how split up that is. One of the R3R riders coming in there now. Who else have we got? I'm just trying to see which R3R rider that might be. I didn't quite catch it, but be interesting to see. Jan van der Linden now, Pokemotion off the front. Marino Sesso on the ADR, the Italian rider. James Melville from Dumbarton in Scotland. By the way, if you are listening, James, I posted your trophy from one of our West London events to you this morning. So, as I say, these are all the names. Christophe Canton from France, from the Rhone Valley down there, Clermont-Ferrand. It's where he lives, I believe. Tom Froling, another Danish rider, I don't know. Craig Jones, I hope you've got the Welsh kit on tonight, Chip Craig. I absolutely love it, as you will know. Wouter Clays, lovely to see Wouter. Don't see enough of Wouter at the moment. He did tell me that, because I'm running my races on Monday, that Monday's not the most convenient night for him. Glad to see you out on a Wednesday, Wouter. Always a pleasure. Wouter has contributed a great deal to online racing. Never underestimate this man's contribution to the whole community. Absolutely phenomenal. Top bloke, as we say in my locality. Rasmus Feldball, who's another top bloke as far as I'm concerned, lights up races brilliantly. We see his power now, putting out 400 watts per kilogram now, and 400 watts, and cadence of 88. Quite measured, that I would suggest. Stanley Gabriel, the Electric Spirit rider, now off the front. Electric Spirit, great additions to this community. I say additions, it's probably a little bit unfair in the sense that IndieVelo is a new community. It's dominated by people who've come over from RGT, as we know. The Electric Spirit were there long before the RGT people. And Zeb Norman's in there. I hadn't spotted two Electric Spirit riders. So Electric Spirit, they were early adopters of this. Certainly R3R and Electric Spirit, I have to say, from when I put my first races, were very quick to adopt and be part of the community, long before a lot of the RGT people came over. So when I say they're new, that's in the context, if you're from RGT and you've joined recently, you will not realise that Electric Spirit and R3R really are kind of part of the proper foundation of this platform, this IndieVelo. So, Sandy Gabriel now. Electric Spirit do this all the time, don't they? They're well off the front. Ingmar van Beurs now for Ratio. The Netherlander is he's sort of sharing it a bit. Rasmus Feldball. These are the names you expect to see on the front of these races. A little bit fragmented there. I think that will hold together, though. I don't think anybody in that group is going to get dropped. There are, as you look on the left of your screen, you can see there are separate groups. Daniel Magalhães from Portugal runs Portugal Rent a Bike out there if you ever need a bike. He's Group 2, and he's got 9 with him in Group 2. Group 3 is Vincent Mays, and there's only 2 in that group. And Vincent Mays, yes. Then there's Finn Eckhard in the group behind. Andrew Street, OTR Wicked in Group 5. And then Group 6 and 7, 3 riders off the back. Never ever be worried about being off the back in these. These are fantastic races, these sort of RGT stroke IndieVelo style races in this community. Getting in there and being part of it is very, very important. However, we are focused at the moment on Zeb Norman, who is one of the top riders as far as I'm concerned. I think Electric Spirit is a great team. Zeb pushing out 367 in power, cadence of 79, very, very low. So that's quite powerful, isn't it? In one of his powers dropped a little bit. Heart rate of 156. He's off the front. He's being chased by Nick Greenhouse and Tolbull. I think both of those will go. I mean, I think Nick won't let that go. 20 kilometres to go. They're about to hit the climb, and Zeb's probably giving himself a little bit of space to get onto that climb. A couple of foothills before we get there, on 3% at the moment, and the second of those little bumps before the real climb. But the real climb is going to be a big feature of this race. Zeb caught up now, Sammy Gabriel, his teammate, but unfortunately for the Electric Spirit riders, so is the rest of the peloton now. We've got a split screen now, which is always great. You can see this other group on the right now from a different angle. We're both in. Both views are, of course, Group 1, as you can tell. But it is interesting to look at the back of that group. Very strung out. They're going very, very fast. There's a little bit of a descent, but they are about now to hit the main ascent of the lap, and let's see what happens. Gradient now eking up a little bit for these riders. It's minus 1% for the riders we're looking at the moment. Nicky Halgaard, who is 26th at the moment, so we are looking at the back of the group. They're still on the flat beat. You can see the yellow arrow. They're coming down now off those 2 little bumps. So they have these riders just behind. Let's have a look who's in this group. Kurt Pedersen, we know of. Jesper Husvik, yes, we know Jesper as well, don't we? Henrik Poulsen. Daniel Magalhães, who we've mentioned. Jesper Husvik. And there's a lot of Danish riders here. Fantastic to see so many Danes in it. Absolutely delighted. Stanley Gabriel in this group now for I don't quite know why Stanley Gabriel's all the way back there now, but one of the Electric Spirit riders. So going back to the front, we are now looking at Wouter Claes off the front. Wouter, one of the great riders in online racing, it has to be said, a celebrity amongst celebrities, I would describe Wouter as. Absolutely loved the guy. Never met him in real life. Spent hours in social media correspondence with him, and we did nearly meet in Belgium once, but it fell apart at the 11th hour, unfortunately. One day. Absolutely love Belgium. By the way, Wouter, if you are watching and listening, I will be back in Belgium cycling next in July, so towards the end of July. Hopefully one day we'll actually meet in person. Tolbull now on your screen, 436 the power going up this climb. You can see the gaps emerging. Zeb Norman now got 3 seconds on Nick Greenhouse. Nick Greenhouse at the front of this little group, just getting edged out by Marino Sesson, the ADR Italian rider. You can see the speed has slowed down quite a lot, 18.2 kilometres, but they're on a 10% gradient. I'll be very happy with that, personally. Zeb Norman, he's got that gap. I mean, he's eked it out at 4, but it's not going to be decisive if he only holds it at 4 or 5. And they're getting towards the top of that climb. You can see the yellow arrow. We're in the last bit. I mean, if Zeb can get that out to 5 or 6, that's probably about all he's going to manage. We're looking at Jan van der Linden now in that Pokemotion orange and black. He's not really losing ground, but will be slightly better off. He just close the gap up to The Pedalers rider, Christophe Canton, in front of him. Jan van der Linden now has made up the gap, getting the benefit of whatever draft works. 9%, the gradient easing a little bit. Zeb Norman now only 1 second ahead of Marino Sesson. It's yet Tolball in there. Daniel Irimia is Romanian, I think, that flag. And Nick Greenhouse in there. I think this is all going to hold together. Zeb hasn't eked anything out. In fact, it's closing down a little bit, if anything. Zeb hasn't managed to make a space on that. However, when you look at the group, I mean, the group is thinned down. Group 2 now, with James Melvin and a couple of others. Group 3, Anders Ostergaard. They've dropped those riders. So there's already been... Oh, so isn't that a wonderful view? I mean, I always ride this in daylight, and I just realised, with all that kind of evening sky and the mountain in the background, what a fantastic bit of graphics. I like that. We're looking a bit further back. This is James Melville. He's in the second group. He's got 3 riders with him. Rasmus Feldball and Alex Plaisir, the Ratio rider. I think they're going to have to work together, maybe duke it out at the end. Don't forget, they're on 8% now. It's not easy doing this. I have ridden these rides. It isn't that easy. So I think those 3 are probably off the pace now. Zeb Norman has eked out a little gap on the descent there on the left-hand side. It always interests me that some riders are very, very good at descending. The Electric Spirit riders have really got this. We saw Tim Humpton from Electric Spirit do this on Monday during the Monday Malarkey race. Actually won the race by being good at descending. You can still put the power out on a descent. Zeb Norman now, he's got a second on Marino Sesson and that little group. It's still fragmenting though. I don't think there's enough of a gap for this to be decisive in terms of the race. But Zeb obviously putting some pressure on other riders, and whether or not some of them are burning matches, we'll have to wait and find out. Zeb getting closed down. There's not a lot of gap as yet. Tolball gets into the slipstream. Looking back now at Alex Plaisir's little group, they're on the descent now, minus 5%. As I say, it'd be interesting to see whether they can make this up. But 30 seconds on the group in front, include Christophe Canton, the Francais, just in front of them. But 30 seconds is now going to be a big ask to make up when the group in front of you is so back. Inmar van Beurs in this group as well. Jorgen van Beurs is actually, so this is the group behind the one in front. Jorgen van Beurs and Inmar van Beurs, the 2 brothers riding for Ratio Racing, along with Anders Ostergaard from R3R. So looking back at this group, Daniel Magalhães, the Rent-A-Bike Portugal rider, is with Craig Jones. I'm a little bit surprised that Craig hasn't got the kit on here, and I think this is because, and I think I might have said this last week on the ECKD ride, if you set up a team race in a certain way, riders not necessarily in a team will get put into an artificial team, and I think that's what's happening, because you look at these 2 riders who, as far as I'm aware, are not related, have got the same kit. So I think we haven't got the pleasure of Craig Jones's Welsh coloured kit, which I love. So that is a huge disappointment. We won't walk away. We won't throw our toys out the pram. We'll get on with the race, because we're looking at the front group now. Tom Framerling, we haven't mentioned, one of the Swedes in there running for JJ, which I am kind of half guessing is probably an artificial team. I don't know. Somebody just struggling to get on the group here after the back, aren't they? I think that might be Wouter Claes, a second behind. We'll have to find out. But everybody, no, I think Wouter's back on. So that's everybody back together again in that group, and they've now got 28 seconds ahead of James Melville's group. But look at the pressure. Zeb Norman's still putting on the front. He's still sprinter in this. The Electric Spirit really are one of the strong star teams on IndieVelo, aren't they? And Zeb Norman causing carnage again. Everybody responding though. He's got Carl Axel Sander Persson, who I haven't mentioned Carl, Swedish rider, absolutely as strong as an ox, and he's got Nick Greenhouse. So the star riders, Carl, Zeb, and Nick, in amongst the star group here. Carl Alexander Persson. It's a group of four, isn't it? It's 4 riders now off the front. They've got 2 seconds on Daniel Iremia, Christophe Contant, Marino Sesson, Jep Tobel, Jan van der Linden, Tom Fremling as well. So I think 2 seconds is probably not a lot. They're about to go on the flat section. And the small group, will they be able to get away? Not looking visually at that, I don't think they will. I think this is going to come together on the flat. Minus 12% at the moment, a hell of a drop. It gives you great speed as they go down at 66 kph. And the group comes together once again. So, and somebody goes off the front. It's, who is it? Marino Sesson, I see there, and Daniel Iriyama, JJ, which is, I think, again, one of the allocated team riders. Daniel Iremia putting out quite a low power there, although again we are on the flat section, of course. If you look down the bottom, at the bottom section, you can see the yellow arrow. We're coming up to halfway through the race, 13.6 kilometres to go. We're on the coast. It'll always be flat on these coastal sections. We've got this nice little bunch here, haven't we? And what have we got? 11 or 12 riders, 11 riders, I think, in there. And this is probably the selection we're going to expect to see now duke out the finish. But remember, we're only halfway. We're going to do it all again. We're on the base camp course on IndieVelo. We're on ECKD and ZMS bringing you the production. Here's the course. You can see it goes around the coast, over the top of the island, back down the coast, which is where we are at the moment. And then we're going to do it all again for a second time. So, who's going to win? I don't know, because I think the group's held together. I think you'll see this split into probably 2 groups on the second climb. And I think you'll probably see maybe 3 or 4 riders in one group and the rest either in 2 groups of 2 or 3 or maybe all together. But I think this group will probably splinter because somebody with real strength and in good form will actually explode the race, I think, on the second climb. Now remember, strategically this is quite an interesting it's an interesting course because there's a couple of bumps just before that. You can do a little bit of damage early on. Somebody's going off the front now. Yep, Tolball. I think this is probably because he wants to get ahead before the climb. I don't know yet. He's not a rider I'm quite as fit. I know some of the others from commentaries before. Yep's not one I know, so I don't. I'm not going to predict how his tactics might go. But my instinct is that I think if you're braking now, it's because you want to get ahead on the climb. You don't really fancy having to duke it out on the climb. I could be totally wrong. That is a guess. I don't know the rider well enough to predict that one. I'm looking at some of the others. Tom Fremling is in the frame at the moment. And it's sorry about that one. He's hearing me. We're going back a group now. Here's Alex Plager's group. He is, of course, with James Melville and Rasmus Feldpool. Rasmus in the red and white. He's running for ECKD. The orange and black, of course, is Alex Plager in that familiar Ratio kit. And I see that James Melville has got a JJ kit. Now, I know James rides for Glasgow United, which confirms that JJ kit is an allocated team, doesn't it? So here we go. They've got 1 lap to go. They're going through the bit when they start the second lap. They're halfway through the race, 12.4 kilometres to go. And let's see what these 3 can do. I think their chances, mind you, I'm just trying to think. I mean, we're looking at Ingmar and Jorgen here. I don't know. This group could catch the one in front. It's only 21 seconds, a couple of climbs. These guys could catch the group in front, I suspect. I don't know. We'll have to see. Stanley Gabriel now dropping back. He was very dominant at the outset. René Steenberg, Ofsen behind him, Jesper Hertzfeld and Nicky Haugaard I see in there. Good to see you, Nicky. And as we go, I think we are back up to the front now. Tobel has eked out 11 seconds. You can see the yellow arrow there, and you can see visually the group behind is quite a way behind now. He's putting out 448 watts. That's quite high. Cadence at 82, which is steady. Heart rate at 181. He rides for Fusion. I think, as I say, my instinct is that if you're going to break this early, it's basically to get yourself a bit of clear space on the climb, which suggests to me that he's not overconfident of beating everybody else on the climb. Wouter Clay is leading the charge behind that, and Nick Greenhouse not allowing Wouter to get away, but I'm not sure if that's a case of sharing the workload to bring Yep back, or whether Nick is attacking. I don't think Nick would attack right here, not with the profile of the course we've got going forward, and my thoughts are probably confirmed by that as Nick drops back into the pack. Seb Norman now on the front. 10 seconds to Yep ahead of them. Let's see if that goes up or down. It's hovering between 10 and 11 seconds, suggesting they're not making a lot of great inroads. Wouter Clay's off the front again. I think Wouter will probably expect to be leading the charge rather than the solo close down. Yep's gone up to 12 seconds though, so it's not coming to 13 seconds. So Yep actually eating away there, clocking up a few extra seconds. I don't think anybody's sort of really wanting to put a great deal of effort off the front. Nick Greenhouse on the front at the moment. I think Nick and Wouter are likely to put a bit of effort in, perhaps more than some of the others. We'll have to see. But I don't know that they're really leading the chase, because he's now up to 16 seconds. Yet Tolball now, he's about to hit those two little mini bumps before the big climb, and let's see what happens. But 17 seconds. Yep, he's now pulling out quite a lead. He's putting out. He's at 45 kph. I know it's flat. 411. That jumped a bit, didn't it? Cadence of 83, quite steady. Heart rate at 185. Fusion Cola Quick. Interesting, this one. 18 seconds now back to Greenhouse and the crew. Zed Normans and Jan van der Linden, Carl Axel Zander Persson, Daniel Iremia. They're not really fighting to get on there, are they? I think they maybe they know Yep, and 20 seconds though. That's quite a lot. They are coming up to the climbs now, so it's one of those classic things, isn't it? We all watch it in the big professional events, don't we? Will the breakaway make it? Will Yep Tolball get a great solo win for Fusion, or will Wouter and the crew hunt him down? He's out. He's only got 19 seconds at the moment. He hasn't eked any more. He's running out of flat ground. Will it work? Will it not? This is what makes this so exciting, isn't it? Yep, now 20 seconds. So he's holding it, eking out a little bit more as we look at Yep on the left-hand screen and the chasing pack on the other side. And it suggests to me that when the chasing pack strings out like that, somebody on the front is putting a bit of pressure in. It's Christophe Canton at the moment, and he's being replaced on the front now by Daniel Irama and Nick Greenhouse sitting in the pack there as well. They're certainly fighting to close that gap down a little bit. I think it is closing down, isn't it? Or maybe not. 21 seconds. They're going to need to put some effort in to close him down. How close is Yep? Yep is about to go up. He's on a 2% gradient. They are not. I would expect a little bit of that closing down at the moment, but of course they're going to hit that gradient soon. Yep on 3% now. Speed goes down to 38, but he's got 22 seconds. Go, Yep Tolball, Mads Flashberg. Glad to see you, Mads Flashberg. Thanks for watching, Mads. Great to have you contributing like that. Thanks very much. Feel free to contribute if you're watching. Mads Flashberg now, one of the great Danish riders. 22 seconds. Nick Greenhouse now is in focus as Tom Frameling is now on our screens, currently 9th. 34 riders still in the race. It's probably 33 minus a bot, I would imagine, as we do need to put a bot in for the filming, or so I believe. Not that I know a lot about this. Let's have a look. What is the gap now? It's Daniel Iriyama at the moment. It's Tolbull. He's got 20 seconds. He's just on the second of the little humps, and he got 2%. He's at 19 seconds. Of course, this is not really comparable as a closing sort of. Are they closing down or not? They're on slightly different terrain. You can see that those two little bumps before the big climb. There's up, down, up. It's hard to tell. Although the gap is down to 17 seconds. Yep is on minus 3%. Let's see if we can eke that out. It's down to 16 seconds. Zeb Norman, Wouter Claes and Nick Greenhouse, Jan van der Linden, all in the charge there. Marino Sesson, they've got it down now. They've got the gap down. That makes a big difference. But where are we in terms of terrain? Looking at this group, they're on a descent, which means you could expect it to come down a little bit, but of course they are going to get onto the ascent slightly later. Yet Tolbull now only 14 seconds. The gap is closing. He probably did the right thing to get an advantage on the initial stages of that climb. Looking at the way he is being hunted down now, 12 seconds. Admittedly, this group are not on the climb yet, and they will slow down, which means it may eke out a little bit. We'll have to see how this plays out. He's got 10 seconds now ahead of Zeb Norman, and the rest of the group seem to be hanging on with Zeb and Wouter and the lead protagonists in that group. Yet Tolbull now down to 19 seconds. He's on 6%. Expect that to close some more. You can see the group hunting him down. The Wolfpack are behind now. It's down to 9 seconds as it was before, and I think he is going to get caught on the climb. You can see we're just coming up to that little bit of the climb where there's a bit of respite. 8% though. None of these climbs feel that easy when I've ridden them. Some of the gradients are reasonably steep, and you can see that, Tolbull has been caught probably a third of the way up the climb. Now, can he sit on the wheel, or is he going to get dropped? Has it paid off or has it not? It may well have paid off in the sense that he will at least get a position in the top 12 or so if he can, even if he gets dropped, because I think the group behind might not catch him. So it's not a bad tactic to ensure a place. We'll have to see. He's holding on to the group at the moment, though, isn't he? So it's not like he's lost anything. They're not quite halfway up the climb. 8% though. This eats into you, trust me. This really does. And you can see there are little gaps emerging there, but and it's Wouter Claes off the front for Moonriders, ahead of Zeb Norman behind him. Zeb a little bit of a gap back to Daniel Iremia, Nick Greenhouse and all the rest of it. Christophe Canton, Tom Fremling, Marino Sesson and Jep Tolbull. Still, he's lost a couple of seconds, hasn't he? To be honest, he's with Jan van der Linden. You can see there's a little subgroup behind. I think, probably did the right thing. He's probably ensured himself quite a high finish in this race by doing that solo bit. We're watching at Jan van der Linden now, and losing a little bit of space. Great solo attack. Or maybe Yep's just holding it. I don't know. Yes, I think he's holding it. So Jan van der Linden not getting away, but Nick Greenhouse and that group now 8 seconds ahead of them. I don't think they're going to hold it. I think Yep's the elastic snapping a little bit. Jan van der Linden for Pokemotion just getting away. Pokemotion in the green and black strip there, as you can see. But the gap up to Nick Greenhouse, etc. Now 12 seconds, and I don't think they are going to get back on. Wouter Claes, though, has 2 seconds on Zeb Norman. Zeb Norman has 5 seconds on the chasing group. We've got a big descent coming, but we're not quite at the top of the climb. 9%. It eats into you. This is attritional. You can see that nobody's been significantly dropped, but that couple of seconds may count. We've got a great big descent. Then we've got that secondary climb. If you've got anything left and you hold on to that secondary climb, it's a descent and a flat sort of, I suppose, false descent, if you like. So it can be a very fast finish if you can hang on. Wouter Claes is eating out 3 seconds on Zed Norman. He's got another 4 on Daniel Iremia. Carl Axel, Xander Persson, Tom Frameling, Marino Sesson, Nick Greenhouse, Christophe Canton, Jan van der Linden now just off the back by about 20 seconds. Yet Tolbull He's not far off Jan though. He's held on to Jan. Look at the splintering on this second climb. They all held together in the first climb. They're not managing it on the second one. The fatigue eating into these riders quite clearly. We're looking at Wouter Claes. He's now got 6 seconds on Zeb Norman. Don't underestimate Zeb Norman on the descent though. Wouter hasn't got this, but Wouter is getting into the top, 6%. Wouter down with his chin on the handlebars now. He's very, very near the top. He hit the descent ahead of Daniel with 7 seconds to go as we turn the corner, begin the descent. -1. Wouter has got 7 seconds on Daniel and Zeb Norman there too. And in fact, so Carl Axel Person. So can Wouter hold the 6 seconds? Now Wouter knows what he's doing in a race, so if he can, he will. 7 seconds. The gap holding now to Daniel Zeb and Carl Axel van der Person. Tom Freyling a few seconds behind that. On the descent though, there are riders, especially Electric Spirit ones, who know how to descend. Wouter holding the 7 seconds at the moment though. The group behind, Zeb Norman, Daniel Iremia and Carl Axel van der Person. These three descending in a line, just like the pros do. You probably don't need to quite as much in the way that the racing line is probably not quite in focus because we have no steering or anything like this on here. And so I suspect, well, I don't know, that racing a line is not critical to descending for safety reasons. But this little trio, they're not splitting up, are they? Just as I say that, there's a little bit of an attack. Look at this. We've got Tom Freyling within sight of that group. Could he make it in there and get into a 4 here? He's got 2 seconds to catch this little group. It's a strong group, and if they interchange on the front, then they do get the benefit of a draft that he's not getting. But downhill, as I say, running out of downhill though, he's going to hit the beach soon. Then it's going to be uphill. If he lost ground on the last climb, there's no reason to suspect he'll make it up here. And Wouter Claes, meanwhile, has added another second onto the gap. If Wouter makes it over the top of the next hump, he should be in a commanding position to win the race. Tom Freyling now, only a second down. He can see the riders in front. Maybe the flat will suit him. Maybe he's going to make that up. 2 seconds again now, though. And it's... he gets braked at the corner, but is he making it up? I think he is. I think he's within distance. Well done, Tom. Danish rider making it up now. He's got 11 seconds on Marino for Sesson. If he can just get in there and take some draft, get a bit of respite. There's another climb coming. You need to do it now, Tom. I can see you making up the ground. Just grin and bear it. Grit your teeth and get in there. Wouter Claes now has got 10 seconds as he enters the next bit of climbing, the last sort of major bit of climbing, or decisive bit of a climbing, should I say. I think Wouter, 12 seconds now, is going to win this race. A brilliant solo effort on Wouter's part. I think he's going to win the race. I think the 13 seconds he's now got is not going to be beaten. He's halfway up the next climb, 2%. And we take a little break before the final smashing thing. Tour de Monde OTR bringing you this. It's the same Tour de Monde that was exceptionally successful on RGT. It's coming to IndieVelo with ZMS broadcasting it. Of course, so look out for that Tour de Monde OTR coming your way at the 2024 edition. I know that James Ogilvy is working very, very hard on that at the moment. ZMS 2. This group of 4 now, I don't think they're going to catch Wouter. Wouter is now down to 1% as he nears the top of that little lip as we go through the lakes. He's going to get over that, and I think he's got clear space at 16 seconds. Wouter is not going to let that go. So I think another phenomenal, impressive win from Wouter Claes. We've witnessed so many, haven't we, as the Belgian comes home from the Moon Riders team in a commanding position. Very well executed too. It's going to be interesting watching the next little group. There's a group of 4, and then back to Marino Sesson and Nick Greenhouse's group, Christophe Contant behind them. We'll have to see how that one pans out. And the group of 4 are split into 2. Tom Freyling, all that effort of catching up now, and he's been dropped a little bit, although I think he's closing it. I think he's going to get back on. Great stuff. Well done, Tom. As they get to the top of that climb, they're on the descent now. So Tom's back in just the right moment. 3 of those riders now wearing the JJ kit, which is the assumed team for non-allocated riders. Zeb Norman for E-Spirit now. Electric Spirits, of course. They're down onto the coast, so it's coastal roads home now. Zeb Norman is probably well placed to do a sprint, but he's got to watch out. He's in very good company in the shape and form of Carl Axel Zander Persson and Tom Framling. I think Tom Framling is actually, I think, if there's kind of like equivalent to most aggressive rider or sort of deserving of some sort of award, but there wasn't one for you, it's Tom. I think Tom has been absolutely brilliant the way he caught up with that group. Wouter is entering the Flamme Rouge now at 16 seconds. He's not going to lose this. Exceptional as ever, Mr. Clays. Well done indeed. 380 watts of power on a cadence of 82, heart rate of 173. As we see the man who is the Super Clays coming home, 17 seconds. He's even eking out another second. Now then, Zeb Norman hanging back a bit there. I expected Zeb to go for this, and I think he's reacted now. He's putting his head down. He probably is timing this. The Electric Spirit riders are very good at timing these things. Tom Framing, again, I think he's paid a big price in all the catching up. I think you are the star of the race. Well, maybe Wouter, actually, but there's certainly a billing for you there, Tom. I think you've been exceptional. You've certainly lit up the entertainment value for everybody watching this. Well done, Tom Framling, the Danish rider, as we watch Wouter Clays coming home. 300 metres to go. Another phenomenal finish, as ever, by this star of e-racing from Belgium, the Moon Riders team man. You just come around this headline and you'll see the finishing line. There it is, 120 metres to go for Wouter Clays. And he takes another exceptional win. Daryl Irmana and Carl Axel Zander Persson. This group's still together, and it is Zeb Norman. He held back. No, sorry, I beg your pardon. Carl Axel Zander Persson who takes it ahead of. I was just trying to see who he could get ahead of Daniel Irmana, I think. And I think Zeb Norman finished fourth in that group. Oh, look at this! And I think Christophe Contant is just going to take that. Fantastic finish, Christophe. Well done. Wouter Clays, Zeb Norman, Carl Axel Zander Persson, as I said, Daniel Irmana. Tom Framing getting in fifth position. Marino Sesson leading the next group. Christophe Contant, the pedalers, winning that fantastic little bit of a sprint there, as we saw. We now look at James Melville coming in with 1.1 kilometres to go. He's currently sitting 11th, and we're looking now at Jep Tolbal, who we were watching earlier. He's with Jan van der Linden, as we have mentioned before, and these two coming in 460 metres to go. Is it going to be an exciting sprint finish? I don't know. We're going for 9th and 10th places here. James Melville, the next rider behind, is 37 seconds behind. He's got a gap on the next pleasure. And look at Jep Tolbal go. The Fusion rider now. Again, I think he's another candidate for one of these. You lit up the race and you gave us some great entertainment. 160 metres to go. He's going to leave Jan behind and take 9th spot. Well done, Jep. As I say, a secondary candidate as we watch Jan van der Linden come in. James Melville, whom I posted his award to this morning, he's coming in, the Scottish rider for Glasgow United. 380 odd metres to go. Go around the headland, you'll see the finish. James has got 16 seconds on Alex Plager. Not impossible to catch, but I don't see James Melville letting a lead like that go. Alex Plager, the comfortable 14 seconds ahead of Anders Ostergaard. Ingmar van Beurs. Actually, I usually expect Jorgen to beat Ingmar, but Ingmar beat Jorgen on Monday, and I think it looks ahead of Jorgen at the moment as well, doesn't he? Ingmar, the one informed brother of the partnership there. Alex Plager, Ratio Racing now coming home as we get confirmed that James Melville, JJ standing for Jumping Jaguars. These are made-up teams that get allocated during the race. So, who else we've got coming in here? This is Rasmus Feldball now coming home in that ECKD kit. The organisers of this, remember, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. On IndieVelo, it is the ECKD, E-Cycling Club of Denmark. Jorgen van Beurs now coming home. I think, as I say, Ingmar has beaten him. He's lost to his brother. As I say, my usual expectation is Jorgen sort of tends to just beat Ingmar, but recently Ingmar very much the lead. I don't know what the rivalry is like. It'll be interesting going around for Christmas dinner at the Van Beurs house and hearing all the disputes about who should have won which race. But anyway, on this occasion, it's Ingmar and not Jorgen. He's ahead of Daniel Magalhães, and Daniel, I say, the Portuguese, runs a bright rental firm out there. Ahead of Stanley Gabriel, riding for Spirit, Electric Spirit, of course. Craig Jones not in the resplendent Welsh kit. Then we get a string of Danes. Stephen Bellio, didn't mention you earlier, Stephen. Good to see you in the race. And Daniel Magalhães in the finishing position there now. As we go back to Stanley Gabriel, who we mentioned earlier. Loads and loads of Danes riding. That's fantastic. Ronnie Hackinson just beating Craig Jones at the moment. I don't think Craig's going to make that up. Craig has got he's got another Dane on his case, though, isn't he? He's going to have a sprint finish because it looks like he's riding with Rene there. Brian Christensen, Thomas Helvig, Stephen Bellio, we just mentioned. Jesper Husfield, Nicky Haugaard, Kurt Pedersen, all names that we know and love from e-racing here on IndieVelo. And don't forget, I'm Dave Morrison. I run the Monday Malarkey events on Monday evenings, UK time, 7:30. And love working with ZMS, who are the expert producers, the top producers of these streams. ZMS, Damon Bates, thank you very much, as usual, for streaming this. I'm very honoured by both ECKD and ZMS to be able to commentate on this race as Ronnie Hackinson comes home in 19th position. Well done, Ronnie, as we watch the next rider come in. Craig Jones is next in that Jumping Jaguars kit. Yeah, never mind. I'm not the greatest fan of the team allocation thing, but there we are. That's another story for another day. Brian Christensen also get it. This is probably commentator bias because they all look the same in the same kit and you can't pick them out, can you? Thomas Helvig, he's riding for Vatter. I don't know who Vatter are, but it's not a team name I recognise. I remember that a lot of the Danish teams are sub-teams from ECKD. I wouldn't know all their names, to be honest. Thomas Helvig coming home in 23rd position out of 33, or I think that's probably 32 in truth because of the bot, camera bot. Stephen Bellio, one of the OTR riders in that new kit that has been specifically designed for IndieVelo. Green very much. I was actually talking to a lady who designs cycling kits, and she said green is the current trendy colour. And you notice that IndieVelo and OTR both in green. I'm obviously getting this all wrong because my team wears blue, white and pink. What do I know? My team not here tonight. They're actually doing their time trial for the OTR TTT event as we watch Stephen Bellio coming home. Well done, Stephen. So looking at the top 10 now, as we always do. Thank you, Damon, for bringing these on screen. And we've got Wouter Clays, as we saw. Zeb Norman leading home the next charge from Carl Axel, Alexander Persson. Daniel Irimia, Tom Fromeling, Nick Greenhouse, Marino Sesson in 7th, Christophe Ponton in 8th from the Rhone Valley down there. Yep, Tolball lit up the race fantastically. And I think between Tom Fromeling and Yep Tolball, we have the illuminators of the race. Jan van der Linden sitting up and Yep letting Yep take Tolball, but nevertheless takes the top 10 position. We're going to wrap it up there. Fantastic. Thank you very much, E-Cycle Club Denmark, for putting on another great event on IndieVelo. Thank you for IndieVelo just for being there. Thank you for ZMS for being the best producers around. Love working with you. We'll see you, I'll see you again next on Monday for the Monday Malarkey race, and hopefully we'll all see each other riding on IndieVelo between now and then. See you soon.